Hello.
What's happening?
In the Pocket, presented by Streaming Artist Agency, featuring the godmother of drums, viral educator and drum icon with nearly 3 million followers worldwide. You've seen her on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, a master of rudiments, Dorothea Taylor. By her side, with more than 30 years behind the kit, studio session and stage performer with artist Santana, Slash, and Vogue and more. At the forefront and industry leader of TikTok Live, host of Drummer's Diary, Jaime Gailey. And now, please welcome your host of In the Pocket, from Never Too Old to Drum, Darren Cohen.
What's happening?
Hello, hello.
What's up? How is everyone today?
Doing great.
Wow.
Great.
It is so good to see you guys. And what a show we have for y'all tonight. My name is Darren. I am joined by the lovely, the one and only Dorothea Taylor. Miss Dorothea. Wow. The feedback we got from last week's show was off the chart. And you know we love him. Jaime, I don't think I've ever been on your channel as much as I have been this past week prior to that, right? Jaime Gailey from Drummer's Diary, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
We are in the pocket, the three of us, and we have quite a show for y'all tonight. And, you know, we had a pretty good show last week. I think it was a lot of fun. Thoughts?
It was.
Yeah, I had a blast. We've got a really good guest this week, too. It's Mark Schulman.
Yay. Can't wait.
He played for Cher and Pink and Foreigner.
Crazy.
And a bunch of other people. He does keynote speaking. He's really instrumental player and helped me actually get started with one of my first endorsements. So it's exciting to have him.
Wow. So you've known him a long time.
Yeah, we met back in like 2001, I think. I was managing Amar's Music, like the drum department, and he came out and did a clinic with Richard Marcus, who was the president of Mapex at the time. And that's how we met.
What is Mars Music? What is that?
So Mars Music is what used to be the competitor for Guitar Center. They went out of business a while back, but they were like one of those big chain music stores back in the day.
I remember them. Yep.
Like Tower Records.
Well, kind of. They sold like, instruments and everything. Basically the same as Guitar Center, really.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, you have a story about Mark too, don't you?
I do. I'm going to save it for when he's on because it's special to me of when I started my journey of learning the drums. So I'm going to save it. But guys, we are so excited. Mark Schulman is going to be here in just a few minutes. We're going to bring him in on the second half of the show, and we have lots to talk about with Mark. But first, we are going to launch show number 2 of In the Pocket with something that I have been so excited about all week. Miss Dorothea and Mr. Jaime going head to head on a instrumental song that they have been studying and learning. And we're going to talk about how they approach putting their own drum part in the song. So, Jaime, discuss how we're going to do this. How would we explain this to the audience of how we're going to approach this?
All right, so randomly we're going to decide whether me or her goes first, and we have the same track. It's just a drumless track, and we're going to do our own take on it and give you guys a little bit of a different dynamic there for how we approach the song.
Okay.
And see how different or the same. We don't know right now what will happen. So that's kind of exciting.
That's going to be the interesting.
Heard each other play at all.
Yeah, neither of them have heard each other's song or their parts, so this is a complete secret to both of them and me. I'm going to be surprised as well. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to choose who goes first, and then whoever that is, I'm going to ask a few questions beforehand, then let you play the song, and then we'll ask some questions afterwards. So I don't have to spin the wheel, so I'm just thinking of a number, okay, from 1 to 10, whoever gets closest. Dorothea, what's the number?
Okay. 8.
Jaime.
4.
Jaime is closer to the number 5.
All right.
So, Jaime, you go first, okay?
All right.
All right. So, Jamie, first, where did we get this instrumental track from?
Okay, so this is just an AI generated song. We decided we were going to do something on kind of the funk tip, so we just had it come up with the song. We took the drums out of it and just both took that track and see what we do with it.
So, what was the app? If you don't mind me asking, what was the app that you used?
Oh, Suno.
Suno.
Yeah,
That's the one you shared with me, which I had a blast with the other night. This is a interesting app where you could give it prompts and it will create a song for you.
Yeah, it's almost scary how good it is. It's probably going to put a lot of us out of work.
Oh no.
No, it won't. No, it won't. There's certain, look, AI can do a lot, but you can't have a robot copy Dorothea. That's
Well, yeah,
impossible.
Of course
Hopefully not.
not. But it does a pretty good job. I'll give it that. It's pretty comprehensive and yeah, it's a little scary. But
So then, Jamie, talk about your approach then going in, because you're used to this, right? This is your bread and butter. How do you go into, what's your first thing you do when you hear a new track that's instrumental?
Well, I had to take a couple different approaches to it because I'm up against Dorothea here, so I have to step up a bit. It was a toss up between finding that just kind of dance groove flow with it, and then getting a little bit technical on the song, and so finding the right approach is kind of difficult sometimes because you don't really know what outcome is gonna be best, but. At first I tried just doing a real basic 4 on the floor kind of groove and just feeling that out, and it had a good vibe, and then I was like, well, maybe I should get a little bit funky and technical on it, and so I found kind of a marriage in between the two. I think that ended up being what I'm going to go with.
Now, are you the type that do you chart and then play, or do you just play and then chart, or do you not even chart?
I mean, I'll do charts if it's a song with a lot of changes, or if I don't have a lot of time to prepare, before I'm going to perform it. But in this case, I had time, so I didn't do any charts. You just memorize the parts and get it down. And on a song like this, a lot of times you can just kind of go on the fly with it too, as long as you know where the changes are. You can feel out the changes. You usually would be okay because there's not a lot of synchronized parts or anything, but. It's just finding the right groove and then getting in that pocket.
I'm curious, Dorothea, how different do you think your versions are going to be?
Well, just by listening to the groove, I've only listened to it one time. Sorry, I've been busy this whole weekend. I can't think that they would be terribly different than each other, just because you want to stay with the groove of the piece that we chose. And so we'll see what happens.
So what you're saying is the song almost gives the vibe, it gives the beat, it gives the time signature.
Yes.
To you it does.
To me
Interesting.
it does.
Jamie, let's hear it. I've been waiting all week.
All right, here we go. Cue it up.
Okay, while he cues up, so remember, Jamie and Dorothea are going to play their drum track against the exact same song. None of us had heard it prior to this. Let's see what they came up with. Nice job. Well
Thank you.
done. Dorothea, your thoughts on that? Because I want to hear your thoughts, not having played yours yet. Your thoughts on how he approached that.
Are you muted in the app still?
Oh, she's muted. Unmute. Okay, while she's unmuting, so first of all, Jamie, absolutely sick. The hi-hat work on that was sick, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, you were doing a combination of eighths and sixteenths on there two-handed. Dorothea, I think, can we hear you now?
You should be able to.
Okay.
Yep.
So your thoughts on his approach to the song, not knowing what you're playing yet.
Yep. Perfect. I mean, it fit perfectly. And that's his, what's the word?
Interpretation?
Interpretation. I was going to say rendition. That wasn't the right word. Yes, that is his interpretation. So now we'll just compare and see if there's a lot of difference or similarities.
So, Jamie, you had a 4 on the floor. You had a snare on 2 and 4. You had a two-handed hi-hat, 16ths. But I was counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 end. You had some sick fills in there, and you kind of ramped it up a little bit further into that second verse and that second chorus. I heard a little bit, busier patterns. Is that something you improvised? What's the process through your mind?
I mean, a lot of it is kind of on the fly, but you just, as you build the song up, you want to, kind of add, some more flair in as you get into the song more. It's just kind of a natural progression as it builds, and then at the end you want to just kind of like, especially since there's not like a vocal track or anything, you want to kind of fill in some of that space with some, little flair and stuff.
So with an instrumental track, how do you know where the buildup is, where the crescendos are, and where the crashes are? Is that just simply you decided it's a 4/4 time, and you put it anywhere you want, or are you matching your vibe and energy to the brass sections and the horns and all that?
Well, the song's going to be in 4/4, but it's just kind of like feeling, how you want it to go. I mean, you could bring the song up, at that point. In a lot of ways, or you could just keep it, at a comfortable level. But there are brass parts and stuff that come in like halfway through the chorus and stuff. So that's why I decided to step it up a little bit and go over to the ride cymbal and just open up, the whole song a little bit there.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. So we'll see, because I've only played through it one time. We'll see what I come up with.
Well, with that, Miss Dorothea, let's hear it.
All right. So all I'm going to do is just mute my talk back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, everyone. Song number 2, but first play from Miss Dorothea. We're going to compare her drum part to Jamie's on the instrumental track that we just heard. Let's hear how different they are. And this is coming from 2 different genres of drummers, but both so talented. And let's hear what she came up with.
Great job. That was
Wow.
awesome.
I love this was okay. I will give credit to Jamie. Jamie, this was your idea and it was brilliant. And wow, we did see such a difference in both of those playing styles. First of all, shout out to Mike Durham, one of my favorite TikTokers out there, one of the first that I communicated with in watching him. He's incredible. He had mentioned that he wants to inject the snare tone that you have, Dorothea, into his veins. So everyone is in love with your snare tone. I don't know what you do. Don't give out your secrets, right? Keep them close. That your handwork, Dorothea. Oh my God, Jamie, from a professional to another professional, just your
That was
first
phenomenal.
impression on that.
I mean, it was phenomenal. It was very cool to see like the improvisation, going into play there because, she was playing around with the rhythm a bit and putting some really cool feels in there, and it was really cool to watch. You kind of
So
almost see the process as it's unfolding.
now she had okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a novice at this, guys. Right? I heard I heard a lot of technicality. I think from Jamie, and I heard maybe a little bit more of a looser, lot of you know a lot of ghost notes with Dorothy. Am I right to assess it that way?
Yeah, I mean, there
Yeah,
was a lot of
I always throw in a lot of ghost notes because I was playing like some paradiddles between right hand and left hand, and so I was trying to ghost note those in between notes.
So you did it also on a 4/4. Your kick was it a 4 on the floor or was it a kick on
No,
1 and 3?
no, I was just adding all kinds of stuff.
So
yeah, hitting the
you were
accents and
just
stuff.
so that's where the looseness comes from. So Jamie, you had like it just sounded to me like real technical.
Just
I don't
lock
know
it
the
in
words I'm
with the
trying to.
bass
You're
guitar,
the drummer,
basically.
so I mean,
It's just a matter of locking in with the bass guitar, really.
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
To
so
listen to
Dorothea was
that bass.
playing. So Dorothea, you were playing more to the bass.
I think we both were pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah, I do too. I think we both were.
Interesting. It's
And I was
such
just
different.
trying to play, in that pocket, in that groove pocket, with
Yeah,
with the bass player. If I was standing, especially if I was standing, next to a bass player, and just getting those little extra da-doomps in there, with my bass foot.
yeah, 'cause he's like doom 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 doom. So there's different
Yeah,
ways you can play around that
yeah.
rhythm, and it's just however you want to fit in there and play around it.
My friend Barrett commented session cleanliness versus groove improv.
Oh, they did.
Interesting,
That's
right?
fair
That's Insane
assessment.
Drummer 89, guys. Really good content too. Jamie, what does that mean? Session cleanliness. What would that how would you define that?
Well, when you go in for a session gig, most of the time they're going to want you to play, um, you know, kind of like a structured, like cleaned up version, as opposed to sometimes when you're playing live, you can kind of be a little more loose and get with the vibe of things. On a recording, usually they want something that's just going to be like spot on, and yeah, it depends on the project really, but
Yeah, they
you
they
know,
might not want a whole bunch of extra stuff
yeah,
because it depends on the words that they're singing. They don't want it all covered up with a bunch of unneeded taps and bass kicks and stuff. It all depends on if you're just playing funk and there's no words really. You can just kind of let loose along with the bass player.
This may be
yeah,
a
you really,
strange question then. Do so do you think the songs you just produced and you just performed for us, would you say that is your go-to style or did you literally just feel the energy of the song and you just did what you felt the song deserved or was there something of yourselves in that?
I mean, I think it's probably both.
Both. I was just gonna say both, because that
Yeah,
is
because
my typical groove style. That I always tend to go back to, just because
yeah, I
it's
mean,
fun for me.
it's hard to not inject your style somewhat into what you play. There's
Yeah.
going to be, your take on it. So there's going to be an influence there. And even if you're playing a straight four on the floor and a backbeat, like it could still have your feel to it, like
Yeah.
just on the subtle accents
Yeah.
and there's a lot that goes into that.
What can, and Dorothea, this would be for you, what can a new drummer take away from this? And I ask that because I did try this exercise on my own. I feel like I failed miserably because I couldn't feel the time signature, and that's just because I'm new,
Yeah, you
right?
knew. Yeah.
But what can a new drummer take out of this exercise, and where would they go to start something like this?
Well, you always have to start with the basics, but you have to have a good listening ear as well. And the more that you pick out songs and you listen to the groove, what the drummer is doing for, whatever particular style it might be, you have to lock in your mind of what you would like to be playing at the same time. If you're copying them, figure out what that groove is. But it takes time as a new drummer. It does take time. You have to spend that quality time practicing. And
Yeah.
each week, each month that goes by, you understand more and more.
Yeah, like having the ability to know when to leave space and to do less can be more a lot of the time. And that's one of the trademarks of a really good drummer is someone that knows
Yeah.
when to play less.
Yeah. When the singer comes in with a verse, you want to chill out. You want to get off that loud riding a crash or a ride cymbal that's loud and just get back to the hats so that, that verse can be sung and understood by the listener. And then, when the guitar comes in and takes a solo, you can get a little bit louder along with the guitarist.
Yeah,
But you
and,
just have to
you're
be
also,
aware.
You're setting the vibe for the rest of the players too, so they know where to follow and when to bring it up, when to drop it down, stuff like that.
Yep.
Well, that was a real treat, guys. Thank you both so much. I don't want to make this a competition. I don't want there to be a winner and a loser. I think you're both winners because I think what we learned was that you can have two different drummers approach the exact same song in two different ways, and that doesn't make it wrong or right. It doesn't make it better or worse. It makes it yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, music is a very subjective thing, and so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's no right or wrong way really.
Yeah.
And if you had a third and a fourth drummer here, we would all
Well-
have like similarities, but completely different takes on fills and
Yep.
groove from the hats into the ride. Everyone is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Unless you go back to that just basic beat. But that's a funky beat that we were just doing, and you want to let loose and have fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll start with something like Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I'll
Definitely.
I'll start with something like Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I'll work my way up to the funk, Dorothea, okay?
Okay, okay,
So work my way up to the funk, Dorothea, okay?
okay, okay.
So let's talk other drummers because this is in the pocket and it's not just about the. Oh, while you're doing that, so I saw some comments that some people jumped into the live a little bit late and you missed the performances. Don't worry. If you follow all of us, you'll see that little plus button on all of your little apps. Make sure you follow Miss Dorothea, follow Jamie on Drummer's Diary. If you could, follow Never Too Old to Drum. The more followers we have, the more content we can push out, and you will see those replays in the form of clips throughout the week from the previous show. So I am, wow, psyched to
Mark.
introduce.
You got to hit the little camera icon on the screen
Yes.
and then click save. And it'll
Let
put the
us
camera on.
see that pretty face, Mark. I have been watching it all
Here's the
week.
pretty face.
Look at
What's up?
you,
What's up,
Mr.
everybody?
Mark.
You know what? I gotta, come on. Let's give some love. Dorothea, it's so great to meet you. Oh my gosh.
Have you guys never met?
We've never met.
No.
Icon. And Jamie, it's so great to see you after all these years, brother. First of all, I got to say, you both sounded amazing, and I loved your comments. I'm also really watching the comments of the audience, and pretty darn astute in what they're saying. So I love just
we
the
have a
drummy, drummy, drummy. It's all drummy energy. It's like, yeah, I don't
we
get
have a
enough drummy
really
energy around me.
we have a really smart audience, Mark. They're really, you
You
know.
do. They're very
So,
astute.
okay, your
You know.
thoughts then. Let's hear your feedback on each of their versions of the song. And how would
All
have you
right.
done it differently?
I want to talk about one thing that's really, really critical. People talk about groove. They talk about pocket, right? Let's define what that actually means. So, um, I'll throw it off to you, Dorothea. When you say, how do you define groove or pocket?
Oh gosh, you're putting me. Whoops, putting me on the spot.
I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't
It's
want to make you uncomfortable at all. I'm just
it's
curious.
it's just what I feel, what I hear, and what I
Okay,
feel, and
great.
then I just go to the drums and just let it loose.
Cool. And then, Jamie, what do you think? How would you
Yeah,
define groove and pocket?
it's getting in that field to where you're bobbing your head till you're just moving the music, like it's just being in the right place.
Right. Okay, I think a lot because I've analyzed this for years and years and years. I've been on the road with so many different artists, played with so many different amazing players, and I'm like, what sets one person's groove apart from another person's groove? And to me, the definition of groove is where you feel the space in time. You know, I always use the example of a click track. Okay, so here's a click track. So the groove is where you play relative to the other musicians or where you play relative to the click track, where your limbs fall. The reason what's so beautiful about hearing different drummers play almost the same thing is everybody innately feels the groove in a different place, right? Where first of all, each of your individual limbs line up differently. Here's a great example. Roger Lynn, who created the first drum machine, he actually apparently recorded like the great studio drummers of the day, like Jeff Porcaro and Steve Gadd and John Guerin and J.R. Robinson, and then analyzed where their individual limbs landed relative to each other. And then he took the best hybrid or what he thought was the best feel, the groove, which was based on the fact that you have 10 drummers all sitting down playing, got, got, got. It's going to sound different. Why? Because we all innately feel it and our limbs line up differently. So the beauty of groove and the beauty of what makes like Zeppelin sound so different than like the Police, which sounds so different than like um, Panic at the Disco, is where everybody relatively feels the time. And what I love is like Dorothea tended to play what I'd call a little bit more on top of the beat slightly. So here's the groove, and so Dorothea might play was playing a little bit more ahead than Jamie. Jamie was a little bit behind, which makes them actually feel, if you really analyze it, because I'm a thinker, it feels very different to me. So the average person might go, oh, it feels the same. But I'm noticing these little nuances, and it wasn't exactly that way all the time. But generally speaking, Dorothy, you get that kind of like that copy group, and it's great, especially with all those ghost notes. I love the way you play ghost notes. And Jamie was kind of pulling it back a little bit, so he was sitting a little bit more behind the beat. And to me, that's a world of difference. Because how else do you define the difference between one drummer and another drummer and between one rhythm section and another rhythm section? People talk about Led Zeppelin, classic, right? People talk about John Bonham as playing behind the beat, right? We've all heard that. Well, that's because I've analyzed Led Zeppelin. What gives Zeppelin the feel is you got John Paul Jones, the bass player, is right in the middle of it. You got John Bonham slightly behind, and Jimmy Page, the guitar player, was always a little ahead. So then it made Bonham feel even more behind the beat. And when you're behind the beat, it gives more of a relaxed feel. I even experimented because when I was playing with Foreigner, on some of the songs I played with click tracks, a lot of the songs I played with click tracks. But that's because we might have sampled keyboards or sampled vocals. And everybody feels time differently. And singers tend to really like to push. almost every singer I played with wants it faster, faster, wants to push, push. So I remember I was playing, and it was when Lou Graham was in the band, and we were playing one of the songs, and I was just playing along. I was playing along with a click because we had some keyboard parts, and he's like, "Come on, man, faster!" Like he wanted me to speed up. You wanted me to speed up. Well, I'm playing with a click, so I can't exactly speed up. So what I did is I pushed ahead of the beat. So relative to the click and relative to some of the keyboard parts, I was slightly ahead. And he turns around and he goes, "Yeah." So it gave the perception that I was actually playing faster when I was just playing more on top of the beat. So if you pull behind the beat, and used to experiment this because I did 1,000 drum clinics. I would take a click track and a groove and a whole band, and first I'd play with it, and then I play behind it, and then I say, "How does that make you feel?" They go, "Yeah, it makes me feel kind of relaxed, like it's kind of pulling back, it's almost slowing down." Then I'd play on top of the beat. Say, "How does that make you feel?" "It feels like you're speeding up." No, I wasn't. That's the beauty of
So
understanding
you're
groove and
saying
pocket.
so you're in the pocket. Okay, so if you're in the pocket, you're saying you could be even more in the pocket. Is that what I mean? Like we could be even more ahead or more behind that pocket space?
Yeah, well, it depends on what you like. You know, the police, if you listen to the police, Stuart Copeland, relative to Sting, tends to play a little bit behind, and Andy Summers tends to play a little bit behind. So Stuart Copeland, please, is known for feeling a little edgy, right? A little bit pushy. It's because it's the relative feel of the entire band together. So it's not necessarily a good pocket or a bad pocket or in the pocket or out of the pocket. I told you I'm a thinker, but that's why you got me on the show. So I could talk about these minute differences because this is the stuff that I think about. When I went to audition for Stevie Nicks, my goal, because I knew that Stevie's favorite drummer was Mick Fleetwood. Well, Mick Fleetwood tends to be a little bit, he's kind of on the beat and kind of a little behind the beat. And he also tunes his drums really low. So I put pinstripes on my drums and I played a little bit behind and with a real fat back. And Stevie loved it because it was emulating Mick because that's his feel. That's real. That's where he feels the pocket, right? David Garibaldi. Oh, I love David. He's a dear friend, and I mean, talk about tower power. He's probably my biggest influence. David Garibaldi, Buddy Rich, and I was a well, I'm influenced by everybody, but Garibaldi would just be just the slightest bit behind. He'd have rocker going, and Garibaldi would just be like a few milliseconds behind him, and it just made it feel. That's the kind of feel that I love. That's why that band had the feel that it had. And I'll never forget there was a version of "What Is Hip," which is one of their famous songs, live, and Garibaldi was playing more on top of it. And I was like, "Ooh, this doesn't feel like the record. It feels very different. It's still Garibaldi, but it's a very different feel." Was it out of the pocket? No, it was just a little bit more edgy.
That's
So
what
that's
that's
what
what
I
is
loved
the
about that
pocket.
exercise you guys did was like analyzing the groove in addition to parts, in addition to sound, in addition to the way each individual limb lines up. But this is what a thinking drummer thinks about. I
Jimmy,
think about
Right.
this stuff in my sleep. Yeah, put a cowboy hat and mustache on me. I deserve it.
You make such a good
I'm
point. You know,
drinking a Celsius, by the way. So if I feel like I'm high, it's because I'm consuming caffeine.
like that's basically what is in the pocket. Like is finding that space that is where you lay your limbs, and it can be influenced by the style of music that you play. It can be influenced by the artist you're playing with. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it's all about where you play. Around that beat and where it falls, and being able to manipulate that is a really great talent to have when you're drumming. So you can create that feel, like you were saying, to make it sound like it's sped up or slowed down.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you, man, it has really been one of the things that I've paid so much attention to over the years. And sometimes, because I play with click tracks so much, if you want to make the chorus feel a little more exciting, a little more push, sometimes I'll push a little ahead on the chorus, then the verse comes in, and I pull back a little bit. But the time is still in the same place. So the tempo doesn't change, but it gives the appearancy that the tempo might be changing. It gives you so much control. I just think the more you're aware and you're really listening to everybody else and you're listening to the bass player and you're listening to the click. And, there have been a couple times, frankly, especially when I was out with Foreigner, when I don't know, there's some nights where it seems like everybody's sleepy. So everybody's just kind of pulling back and they're pulling back and they're slowing down. And some nights everybody's had too much coffee, like me, too much caffeine, and they're pushing. I've actually turned off the metronome. I've turned off the click track because I just wanted to play with the band. Because there's nothing wrong. I'm a stickler for time because if you read my first book, Conquering Life Stage Fright, I talk about my first big audition with bad English. And I was rushing and rushing and rushing. I was so nervous. And I went home and I cried and I just knew I messed it up so badly. And I swore to myself, nobody would ever tell me I was speeding up or slowing down unless I want to speed up or slow down. So I spent the next 2 years working with a metronome religiously every single day so I could have control over my internal sense of time. So whether I was playing with a metronome or without a metronome, if I wanted to push it, I could push it. But I knew I was pushing it because I swear from that point on, nobody ever told me I was speeding up or slowing down unless I wanted to. And another great story was Cher. So Cher, we would end the set with Turn Back Time. So we'd start it, the record tempo was like 106 or 108, right? So kind of so, din, 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 which was way too slow to play that song live. So we'd start at about, I don't know, 116. I think I'd count it off. And then I'd look at the musical director and we would watch Cher. If she would skip across the stage faster some nights, and the musical director would look at me and like, we get faster, we get faster, we get faster. Sometimes the song would end up at like 128 or 130 beats per minute. And I'll never forget, because my students know I'm such a stickler for tempo. One of my German students, and the German drummers are so exacting, I was playing in Germany. And I saw him after the show, and he's looking at me, and he's like, you could tell he's really nervous. I'm like, what's going on, man? And he goes, you rushed that last song. I said, yeah. He goes, you don't care? I said, of course I was trying to. That's my job. I'm following the singer. She's writing the checks, man. So if she wants to go faster and the musical director's looking at me, we go with the singer. It's okay. Music ebbs and flows. It's not about just always having completely metronomic tempo. Another example of what was really crazy is when I was playing with Pink and they recorded, they did a whole video with her to Highway to Hell, which was with the original recording with Phil Rudd playing, sorry, yeah, Phil Rudd was playing drums. Paul Rudd's the actor. So I always thought AC/DC, the tempo is perfect, right? Well, as it turns out, they didn't want to recut the video. So Paul, the musical director, made a tempo map of the original song. And there was probably an 8 beat per minute difference between the verse and the chorus that you don't even notice. I thought, God, this guy's got perfect tempo. When Paul made the tempo map, I'm like, oh man, I could feel it was just going. It was moving, then it was coming back, and then it was going. And I don't know, God and the universe was with me. I managed to do it in like 2 takes. It could have taken 10 takes, right?
Yeah.
But fortunately, I'm just trying to get into the spirit of Phil Rudd as he played. But the point is, music can ebb and flow, even if it sometimes feels like it's perfectly steady. But those older records, they didn't cut to click tracks. Everything now is cut to a click track, of course. And on those live shows, like with Pink, because we have the video, we have the motors for the aerial stunts, the lights, everything synced up. I'm playing to a click every single song, every single nuance. So it's up to all of us if we wanted to feel a little different. As they said, if I want to push the chorus a little bit, I'll push the chorus, then pull back to have the feel of it just be a little more relaxed or a little more pushed. But it's intentional. It's all about understanding. I know I'm talking a lot. Ask questions. Who has questions? Anybody in the audience have questions?
Fascinating. Absolutely. I do want to transition because you mentioned your book, and I'm so excited to read it. I didn't know you were coming on the show until yesterday, so forgive me for not having that chance.
I didn't either. It's okay.
Exactly. So you're a world famous drummer. You're touring around the globe with Pink, with Cher, with Foreigner. At what point did you say, I want to write a book and then I want to start being a motivational speaker because your stuff is powerful? Where does that come from within you? Was there an influence that made you go that direction?
Oh, heck yeah. Well, first of all, I did about 1,000 drum clinics. That's where Jamie and I met at a Mars Music clinic, right? Because Mars
Yep.
Music was huge for a while. And
Yeah.
at the time, I've been with Gretsch now since 2002. But prior to Gretsch, I was with Mapex for a while. So Mapex asked me that when Mars Music came on the scene and they started carrying Mapex, I did a whole slew of drum clinics for Mars Music. So I love doing drum clinics, but I found that, I mean, I've got my chops, there are guys that are just guys and girls, women, men, all kinds of people, transgender people that are just brilliant, have all these chops in the world. I've got my share of chops, but I'm basically a groove guy, right? That's what I do. So I play a lot. I play the chops. I play my three chops that I knew. And then I would tell stories about success and stories like this about nuances and just little things that happened to me. And I found that people were really resonating with the success coaching and the stories, right? And then, rest in peace, one of my favorite men ever, Dom Femularo, and I did a clinic tour together in Germany in 1996. And Dom was telling me a story. He said, and I'll try to do my best. Tom, he said, I was doing this clinic, and this guy comes up to me. His kid was there. His little kid's a drummer. He said, I love what you do. It's so motivating. Can you come to my corporation and just do exactly what you do? He said, I was thinking, I think I could pay you $7,000. Right at the time, we're making like $500 or $1,000 a clinic. So Dom's like, yeah. So in the back of my mind, I always thought, I bet people could really resonate in the corporate and collegiate worlds with what I'm talking about. Music is such a great metaphor for performance, drumming. I have all these stories. So I started to learn more about the corporate market. And that was 1995. I don't think I did my first corporate gig for 10 years after that, but that stuck in the back of my head. And then I thought at one point, try to get some corporate gigs. I want to expand beyond the world of simply drummers and drum clinics and musicians. So that's how it happened. I started learning about the corporate world, learning about the corporate challenges, how I could make music and drumming and the metaphor of performance apply. And then I got inspired to write my first book called Conquering Life's Stage Fright, which really isn't about stage fright at all. It's based on the three C's: clarity, capability, and confidence. So I use that as a sort of a teaser to get people in, but it's about dealing with stage fright and top performance in all areas of life, and why it's based on the three C's. And I interviewed all of these different people, everybody from the blind climber of Mount Everest, Eric Weinmeier, to Guy Fieri, to a bunch of drummers and a bunch of musicians, Steve Stevens, a guitar player for Billy Idol, about the three C's. Because here's what it comes down to really accomplish in life, right? And since then, I have a lot of different philosophies. I've written another book, and now I've got an entirely new program with my life mate called The Everyday Rock Star. But we'll talk about the first book because that's what you said you liked. So, CCC, you need to have real crystal clarity for your goals and what you want. Because once you have clarity about exactly what you want to do, whether it's your life's goal or just what you're going to work on in your drum chamber that day, the more clarity you have, then you know exactly what you need to become capable at. Then you know how you need to spend your 10,000 hours if you have clarity about what you want to do. And that brings you real confidence. Clarity, capability, confidence, not false confidence. False confidence is dangerous because if I go to an audition, or I go on stage, I darn well better know, have absolute clarity and capability. I must be very well rehearsed. That's what gives me the confidence to be able to back up these world class artists. So if you take that formula, you apply it to everything you do, I find it to be an incredible life changer and game changer. But that's just book one. Then I got two other acronyms and two other bits of philosophy, but I could go on forever and ever. We've got 10 minutes, so I'll stop there.
You're incredible. So I saw one of your videos. So I'm a new drummer. I started just about ten months ago, and I saw
Hold
one of
on.
your
Wait a
videos
minute.
pop up.
I, I smell a new drum. Oh, it's you. Okay. I smell a new drummer. I got you.
I
Coming right through
stink.
my iPhone.
I stink of it. I do. I really do. I'm so stinky.
Yeah.
But I saw one of your videos, and along with yours and one of Estepario's, that talked about how you really can do it and apply all the things we know in life when we face challenges and adversities and overcoming those. It's really just applying yourself, practicing, and really dedicating yourself. I'm serious, man. I got goosebumps, and it was one of your videos that really influenced me at 48 years old to try this with no musical background, with never picking these up. And man, everything you said was true. And, the motivational speaking is really fascinating to me because anybody can do that, Mark, but you still have to have that spark. You have to have that it factor, just like you do in your drumming world. You have to capture an audience, and you've proven that you're able to do that both behind the kid and in front. And I commend you for that, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. And you know what? Drummer stank is the best stank in the world, by the way. We love it.
That's right.
Dorothea,
So,
go ahead.
questions. I want to answer
Yeah,
more questions, or I'll just keep on talking, and all of a
Dorothea,
sudden I'll be cut
give
off. I'll be
Mark a
talking, and
question.
this will be turned off.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? You said?
Yeah, go ahead, Dorothea.
Please.
I just wanted to go back to the click. That especially like I went to one of the local churches, the big church that has like big sound systems and the screens and everything,
And a
and
crazy gospel chops drummer, I'm sure.
that yeah. So the drummer gave me a set of ear plugs or whatever to listen to what he was hearing. Well, you really couldn't hear the music because all you heard was this loud click, 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 and then the person would talk in there like verse, well, verse two, verse, and that's all you heard, and it was so mechanical to me because of that. You you couldn't appreciate the musicians and the singer. You couldn't hear anything, but other than that click and some distant music. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I commend the drummer for making great music out of that, because
Me
that
too.
takes an enormous amount of talent, an enormous amount of foresight, and he can probably still hear the musicians outside of of his in ears. So I would imagine he's still hearing what people are doing, especially if you heard him. It was a him, a he, right? It was a he, and he was playing, and he was playing musically. That means he's listening. But by the same token, he might be coming in and not knowing what, and all they're giving him is like, okay, here's the verse, here's the chorus, and he just knows that he needs to differentiate and he needs to stay with the click. Now, I'm just the opposite. If you listen to my mix, and I learned this from Russ Kunkel, because back when I played with Richard Marks, we opened up. Russ was playing with Stevie Nicks at the time, and you know what Russ listened to in his monitors? He didn't have a click. He said, I want the front of house mix as my monitors. So I want to hear the entire band the way
Yeah,
everybody else
I
does.
like that
I
too.
love that too. So you know what I do? Because we all got our own custom in-ear mixes when we were on the road with like the last 20 years of people that I've worked with. So I had the click as low as I could possibly have it, just so it was barely detectable, and I had the music as loud as I could, and I had it balanced. I wanted to hear everything
Yeah.
so I could react to the nuances of the musicians and the
Yes.
music. So everybody is different. So trust me, there have been times where I sit in and I've sit in on all these gigs, and they have a click, and the click is like, it's like I feel like I'm getting bashed over the head with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I don't like
That's
that.
also a safety net because it's very important. You need to stay with the click. If there are sequence parts and the whole band is playing with a click, it's very critical that you do that. So I understand why he did that. Um, Again, it's like groove. It's like food. Mexican food's my favorite, right? Now, you may hate Mexican food. I could talk to you about how great it is till you're blue in the face. I can say, I love the chipotle salsa, and I love the certain green salsa verde, and I love the shrimp when it's cooked. You're going to go, I like Italian. I don't like Mexican. I can't talk you into liking something that you don't like,
Right.
right? I can't talk you into liking, my 15 and a half year old daughter and I listen to all this different music, right? Some of the stuff she plays I love. Some of the stuff I just don't get it. It ain't my thing because I'm really like a pop guy, and some of the stuff she listens to is really dark and kind of you know emo and kind of not so melodic. But
What
she
is she
loves
listening
it.
to? What is she listening to?
Um, well, Boy Genius is a perfect example. So Boy Genius is great. It's these three gals that sing amazing, um, but the songs are very melancholy, and the melodies aren't that pronounced. You could tell I'm kind of a happy guy, right? So when I like start hearing these melancholy lyrics and I start losing the melody, she could play a song 5 times in a row and I can't remember the damn melody. That ain't for me. But who am I to criticize what she likes?
Yeah.
So my point is like going back to this guy, if he wants to hear that click because that makes him feel secure, and he's playing musically,
Yeah. And he was. He was.
so that's beautiful.
Do you
So
think the style of music depends on whether or not you want that click? Like if you're playing Led Zeppelin or compared to Pink, where it's pop versus rock,
yeah,
do you think that would matter with that click?
Hmm.
well, I would never play Zeppelin with a click. I mean,
Mm,
unless I was playing in a show that I needed to play with a click. But
mm.
Yeah.
Bonham didn't play with a click. You could hear Bonham's times all over the place. Who cares? He's friggin' John Bonham. Just his choice, the sound of the drums, where he would hit the snare drum. You move your hand 1 inch differently on the snare drum, you get a completely different sound.
Mhm.
It's incredible. And the way you hit the kick drum, the bass drum, if you lean the batter in or you pop the batter off, or like Bonham had a 26 by 14 open drum, so it'd be like boom, and he had that sound. It's so beautiful. Again, it's like if I sat down at Bonham's kit, I'm not going to sound like Bonham. Another case in point, really, because with Foreigner, Mick Jones, the leader of Foreigner, got sick literally in the middle of the tour. He had to leave. And Joel Holstrom, who was playing with Night Ranger, saved our asses. He came in, he played mixed guitars. He was so good, he could come in and sit in and play these songs, but it didn't sound like Mick. And Joel is brilliant. He's one of the greatest guitar players. He was playing mixed guitars through mixed amp, mixed songs, did not sound like Mick because the way Mick would strum, how he would, the intensity, the thickness of his fingers, there's so much variation. That's what makes music so beautiful. That's why we all love it. That's why we can listen to all these different bands. And that's why, when I joke with people, Eva, the bass player for Pink, and I are really good friends. We used to do a rhythm section clinic, and we would do something really funny. We would take 4 songs and we would play them in 4 different styles. So we took like a Zeppelin song and we play it like Tower of Power. Then we play it like the Ramones. Then we play it like AC/DC. And we joke. So we say, what would it be like if John Bonham was playing What Is Hip? Or what would it be like if David Garibaldi was playing a Ramones song? And that's when you realize that's the beauty of it, is we're all humans, we're all spirits, we all feel, we taste
Yeah.
every little nuance. And that's the beauty of music. And that's the beauty of all the different drummers. That's why I loved hearing what the two of you did, because it was just a simple funk groove. Could have been interpreted so many different ways. It wasn't just what you played, it's how you play it. It's just like not it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if I was talking like this, do you think people get as excited about what I'm saying? I don't think so. But I'm not being disingenuous. This is this is me. I'm a high energy guy. I like to move energy physically. I like to move energy spiritually, emotionally. That's one of the reasons why I became a speaker, because I love to communicate and I love to get people excited. I love
You
to move people. I love to have an impact. That's what Heather and I talk about. Our whole basis of the everyday rock star.
you are infectious.
You can measure people's impact. You can
Yeah.
improve their impact by asking them a series of questions. But for us, it's all about how much impact can we have on the corporate audience, to move them, because the more impact we have, Impact is all about how you make others feel. And that's the way music is. When I'm playing with a band, it's not about me. I'm looking, I'm listening. I'm like, how can I make everybody else's job easier? I feel like I've gotten these gigs I've gotten because when I walk in, it's not about me. It's not about impressing them with all my chops. It's about how can I make their life easier? I auditioned for Cher 3 times, 3 times. By the third audition, I was joking. I'm like, I don't even care if I get the gig. My goal now is how much fun can I possibly have? So I walked in, I was number 9 out of 10 people. Those poor guys, their eyes are bleeding. They're like, we have to hear, do you believe in right after love? 10 times. I walked in cracking jokes, making them feel better. I knew I wanted to make them feel good. And then at the end, when Paul, musical director, asked me to jam, he said, okay, play whatever you want. I'm like, no, you've been here all day. What do you want to play? And Sam Sims starts playing, School Days by Stanley Clark. You could tell he just was waiting for that thumb to grow because he's playing like straight A Cher music all the time. His thumb got this big. And so we start jamming. Then all of a sudden, he's smiling. And then Dave, the guitar player, is smiling. Then Daryl, the other keyboard player, is smiling. Then Paul smiling. The first time I saw those guys smile the entire audition, that's when I knew I had him. Sure enough, got the gig. Played with Cher for nearly 20 years on and off.
Great story.
Incredible. Jamie, do you
That
want
sounds
to
like fun.
grab a question from the audience, Jamie, to wrap up?
Uh,
And then we'll let you do all the
yeah,
plugs
sure.
too, Mark, as well.
All right.
Let's see what you guys got. Any
Thanks for
questions
all
of
the
the
follows,
audience?
by the way. I went from 0 to 367 follows. I just joined TikTok today. So I'm like,
Awesome.
yeah,
You did not, for real?
for real. I just joined today.
Oh, guys, if
I
you're
mean, Heather
watching,
and I are going to start our own podcast. I'll be deep in this, but we haven't started it yet. So,
great to hear. I'll
yeah.
be #1 fan on there. And yes, please follow Mark Schulman. Jamie, question from the audience. What do we have?
Looking.
I,
I'm a whole vibe. I'm a universe unto myself.
I see
Does any of
two.
you play a direct drive pedal? Direct drive pedal?
Not really.
No, I don't. I play a Gibraltar chain, not chain pedal, actually. Yeah, the chain pedal.
If
That's
I
right.
could jump in, Jamie, I have one here. Because I think it's great. Do you have a favorite rudiment or fill?
I love the six stroke roll myself. I use that
Oh my
all
God,
over the
that's what
place.
I was going to say. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
Everyone
it's
Dude,
fun
says
too.
that. Every drummer I've run into said the 6-stroke roll.
Yeah,
wow, I
it's a
didn't
game changer.
realize that.
It's a game changer.
Yep. I
How
used
I
it
is
heard
it?
a
when I
guy.
played.
So
wh-
do
wh-
you play it with a lot of dynamics then, Mark? I mean, are you're doing that 6-stroke? Are you doing it with a lot of dynamics? Do you do them back to back, or is this whatever you're feeling?
It depends on the music.
Mm.
6 note roll is right, left, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left. You can play it like triplets, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. You can go right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Depends on what you're feeling. Depends on the music. You can go.
Hmm.
You can go. It depends on where you play it on the. I go.
Yep.
And put like the sixth beat on the tom. It's like a different universe to me. You take one rudiment and you can play it so many different ways, and it really has a different implication. Dorothea talked about the paradiddle. I mean, Garibaldi known that was like that's, that's, right,
Yep.
right. The paradiddle was sort of like the foundation of what Garibaldi was doing at the beginning of Tower of Power. It kind of that's where the groove grew from, right? It's that paradiddle, that one, you know, rudiment.
Yep.
We have another. What about stretching for older drummers, 48 years old, and you know, we're
Stretching is all I ever did on the Ping Tour. I didn't warm up with a pad. I never warmed up with sticks before. I made myself as limber as I could be because the way that I look at us drummers, it's really physical. We're like athletes. So the most important thing to me, like what I would do is me and the keyboard player Jason, we'd be in the dressing room with like six crazy male dancers. Justin playing guitar really loud because he would play for 2 hours in the bathroom loud with an amp. We'd be sleeping. So first I'd take a nap. I'd go to catering, have a little something to eat, then I'd take a nap. Then I'd get up and I'd stretch myself as much as I possibly could. So when I got on stage, to me, if I feel like a wet noodle, I want to feel like a wet noodle when I'm playing. Like I tell my students, if you drop your sticks, bravo! That means you're relaxed. Because the last thing you want to do is get tense, especially when I'm playing stadiums and arenas. I'm up here, man. The only way I could be up there is if I'm relaxed. It's all about the motion. And it's all about when you stop playing, you relax. So I don't like to expend. I may do stick flips and all this other stuff, but I don't want to expend any more energy than I need to because I'm an athlete. The Pink Tour, the Cher Tour, there were some breaks and such. When I played with Foreigner or Billy Idol, there ain't no breaks. It's a bunch of blokes on stage playing full out for an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. You need to be stretched. You need to. You can't consume any booze or drugs. I mean, for me, it's like I just need to be like tip top shape, like an athlete.
Hmm.
Think about, like, I don't want to compare myself to Michael Jordan. That'd be an insult to Jordan, but think about it though. The great athletes, it's all about fundamentals and stretching. Yes, the greatest coach was the John Mann or something said, I have three things to say: fundamentals, fundamentals, fundamentals. So that's why practicing all the rudiments is what you do, and stretching is what you do. That's the key.
I
Very
have
cool.
nightmares with Dorothea in my dreams. Like she's like leaning over me and she's saying, "Did you do your rudiments today?" I mean, it's I swear, and I do them every day because I hear her saying you have to do them. It will transfer to the kid, and she's so right, and that's why she's wonderful.
Let me make one change to that. You get to do them.
Ah,
That's one of my big shticks. Anytime you shift a have to a get to, it goes from being a chore to a choice. And I'll say one more thing before we get out of here. What are you sitting on? Is it a seat? No. Is it a
Throne.
stool? No. It's a throne.
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 We're drummers. We get to sit on a throne. That makes us kings or queens or whatever you're into, but it makes us special. We drummers are the most friendly, most community oriented, most tribal. Why do you think people still go to drum clinics? You go to drum clinics, do 300 people. Try going to a guitar clinic. Justin, the guitar player for Pink, who became a teacher at Musicians Institute, said one of his teachers was playing this brutal solo. He actually turned around so the students couldn't see him. A drummer would never do that. You ask any drummer, hey man, what do you do? He say, come on over. This is my big joke. It's like this really famous drummer. Like I watched him play and then we were talking. I said, man, can you show me some of your stuff? He said, yeah, man, come on over. Come on over and I'll make you dinner. I'm like, are you kidding me? Just show me, come on over and make you dinner. He's like, you know what? And I got this beautiful girlfriend. I was single at the time, it was many, many years ago. He goes, I got this beautiful girlfriend. I'm going to have her bring a really beautiful friend over. I said, that's incredible. He goes, and if you don't like her friend, take my girlfriend. It's fine. It's a joke, of course.
Oh, that
But
is
I'd never let
wonderful.
anybody take my girlfriend because my girlfriend is the greatest woman on the planet. Heather J. Kreider, if you're listening.
Mark,
Well,
you are a delight. Plug everything you have going on right now, the books, the tour, the performances, plug it all.
Well, I'm off tour. Officially retired from touring. I still play. I still do sessions. I've got my all-star band, the All-Star Royal Jam, and I'm a speaker, man. I play drums when I speak. I won't do a speech unless I'm playing drums. And Heather and I speak together. Heather's a neuro coach. We have the Everyday Rock Star as our program. So we go and we talk to corporate audiences about the basic definition of everyday rock star is being your best self for the benefit of others. And it's based on an acronym, another acronym, for CRED, stands for clarity, resilience, empathy, and delivery. And we talk all about that and how important all those components are to actual success in every walk of life. And imagine this, a neuro coach here. Here's what Heather looks like. Look at my Heather. See? We look exactly the same. You can't even tell us apart. So we get on stage, and you got the neuro coach and the crazy drummer, and the juxtaposition is working. That's all I could say. So if you're in a corporation and you want to hire the coolest keynotes ever, and I play drums, I play a Billy Idol medley, a Cher medley, a Simple Minds, no, I'm sorry, a Foreigner medley, a Stevie Nicks medley, and of course a bunch of Pink stuff. So I'm playing
Awesome.
and I use the music. So everything I play has content attached to it, has a story, has a moral, so to speak. So it's really, really fun for me.
And the
And I
book,
got all that from Rest in Peace. Dom, I miss you. I adore you.
Oh, I know.
Wherever you are. Hope you're looking down on this. I'm sure he's hanging with us right now. Because
Yep.
Dom
amen.
didn't miss a thing. Dom was the ambassador of drumming.
Yep.
I learned so much from that man. Wow, what an inspiration.
I loved
Yeah, the
him.
books. Where can they get your books and the titles?
So, Conquering Life Stage Fright. That's my first book. That's on Amazon. My second book is The Attitude Equation. That's a whole other acronym based on the power of attitude. You can't control your attitude, but you can control what happens to you. So you control your attitude. You can't control what happens. You can control your attitude about what happens to you. Your attitude drives your behavior, and your behavior is what determines the consequences of your life. ABC, attitude, behavior, consequence. And I interviewed uh, man, Matt Sorum, Rich Redmond, Greg Bissonette, Antonio Sanchez, um, uh, uh, so many other drummers inside this book. That's called The Attitude Equation, also available on Amazon. And The Everyday Rockstar, we haven't written yet, but you can just follow me and I'll show you how to. And we're going to start our own podcast really soon. So that's my story.
Very cool. So next week we have Lori Peters coming on the show, and she's on the board for an event called Drumathon down in Texas. I believe you've
That's April Samuels. April's my buddy. April's raised millions and millions and millions of dollars for cancer research. She's had a double mastectomy. She's an incredible drummer, one of the greatest humans on the planet, and she's fully of service. She is an everyday rock star. Absolutely.
very cool. So are you going to be there this year? It's coming
No,
up.
not this
The
year.
big, it's
I
November
kind of
2nd.
alternate years. I'll probably be there next year. I've done
Awesome.
3 of them already.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. Very cool. Yeah. So
Amazing.
And I've been
wonderful.
waiting to say this to you, Jamie. Hold the mic more closer to your face, dude.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
thank you. That's your new place. It's like we don't
Got you.
exercise mic control when we're singing either. Like every great singer I know just eats the mic. So eat the mic, man. We can hear you much better.
We're a
Yeah.
three-legged dog here. We each bring our own.
Well, I just got I tried to do the whole fancy setup, but I couldn't get it all set up in time. So here I am with my AirPods and my iPhone, and I hope everybody's happy because I know I had a ball. Did you have fun?
Yep.
Come
Absolutely.
on.
It
Great
sounded
time.
just as good.
This
You all rocked. And
Thank
it's
you
an
so much for
honor.
coming on,
It's
Mark.
an honor. Thank you so much. I got to go pick up my daughter. I'm really late. Love you guys. Take care. Love
love you.
everybody that's been on. Thanks for all the follows. And I'm going to try to get back to as many people as I can with any comments and follows. So y'all rock.
Amazing. Thank you for your time,
Take care,
Mark.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Buddy.
Love you.
Bye. Love you
Bye.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Unbelievable. We got to spend a few minutes recapping.
That was awesome.
Wow. Don't you want to just like put him, no pun intended, but don't you want to put him in your pocket and just carry him around all day?
You'll be in a good mood for the whole day.
Yeah, I mean, like I saw my therapist this morning at 7 a.m. because I knew I was going to have a tough day ahead, and I needed him to tell me, like, hey, just have a good attitude. But like,
He can,
oh my goodness. I mean, just
You find a drummer that's having a bad day. It's probably because he hasn't been playing. It's hard
Yeah.
to stay in a bad mood when you hit stuff with sticks all day. Just saying.
some of us have real jobs that cause those bad days.
It looks like everyone has enjoyed it. I've seen, several
Wow.
good comments in.
Amanda,
Yeah,
his vibe
that
is
was awesome.
contagious. I would agree with that. And Jamie, thank you for coordinating that. I mean, I feel so
Awesome
grateful to have had that opportunity to spend just a moment in our universe with him. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, and next
Yeah.
week we got Lori Peters on here. We're going to be talking about her work with Skillet and this drumathon that's coming up here in a few weeks. So make sure you guys tune in for that.
I'm very excited. I'm going to be there. So
Sounds
that's
awesome.
actually in my part of town.
Oh,
D
it
Mike,
is?
our friend D Mike Drums is going to be up here. But it's in Dallas. I don't know the exact location, but I'll definitely tease that throughout the
Oh,
week.
cool.
And I'm
I
so
might be going
excited to
too.
talk to Lori about that and to meet her. Hopefully, I get to meet her. And she has a wonderful channel. And I'll tease a little story. She also was within the top or within the first 5 that came up on my feed as soon as I went onto TikTok and started doing drums. She was within the first 5 that had popped up on the FYP.
Cool.
Incredible. You know, and she commented on my stuff, and that's just, to me, that is
That's awesome.
so genuine.
That's
you know?
awesome.
Yeah, Lori's great.
What a show we have had. I mean, Dorothea, Jamie, you guys performed the same song, but differently. We learned so much about that approach. Guys, we'll clip some of the highlights from the show. We'll post them on our separate channels. Please give a like to all of our content creators, even those in the chat that had participated. But Miss Dorothea, you can find her on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, where else? YouTube. Dorothea. You can find her on Jimmy Fallon. I mean, she's everywhere. You know, it's unbelievable. Jamie, we can find you hosting Drummer's Diary on your channel, which is incredible. And drummers, musicians, go see Drummer's Diary. It is a lot of fun. It's like a party every single week. And who doesn't love a party? So please follow him. I'm never too old to drum. I am just starting my drumming journey here just within this first year. And we're all putting out some great content. But, you know, it's so beautiful to be able to get together once a week, the 3 of us, to just, you know, kind of just, you know, just talk and be together. And that's what it's all about.
If you guys see a plus next to any of these names up here, make sure you click that plus and follow us so we can keep you updated on the next show.
Somebody said to put it up on YouTube as well.
We're
we will be.
we're working on that, right, Jamie?
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's
And all
some
the-
copyright
and
issues when we play
Instagram and everything.
songs.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram, yes. There is some there's some copyright issues when we
Yeah, but-
perform songs. That's why we're doing the instrumental stuff.
Yeah, we'll be good. So yeah, you can
Yeah.
expect to see us on all the platforms here very soon.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
good.
sure. So, guys, next Monday in the pocket, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. You'll see some videos throughout the week, as well as some teasers of what topics we're going to cover. We thank you all. We love you all. And please comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and let us know what you want to see in the coming weeks, all right?
Sounds
Everybody,
good.
thank you so much.
See you guys
See you
later.
next time.
I love both you guys. You guys have a great week.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.